Now, folks, I do realize that this next story is very disturbing. I heard Aaron Parnas break it, and I said to myself, Aaron, did you really have to go there? Did you really have to tell us this story? And then I said to myself, no, we need to be aware of stories like this, and more people should be talking about stories like this because we have RFK Jr. in charge of our health. And I'm not going to play any clips from RFK Jr. Me and my son was talking the other day about that Senate hearing and just how disastrous it was. And my son said, Dad, I can feel my blood pressure going up. And I could too. You could literally feel it, and you could see Kennedy's going up as he's sitting there just coming completely unglued. But that's the guy that's in charge of our health. And so when you read a story like this, you say to yourself, oh, shit. RFK Jr. will be the one responding to this. So that's why I think that we need to respond to it. And I'm going to bring this up. This article comes to us from The Independent. And trigger warning, it is kind of gross and disturbing, but I do believe that more people should be talking about this one. So, where the deadly kissing bug disease Chagas has spread in the U.S., researchers have called for enhanced reporting of the disease after it was found in humans in multiple states. So let me bring this up right here. A potentially life-threatening parasitic disease once believed to be endemic in Latin America has been detected in humans in multiple U.S. states, research has found. Chagas disease is caused by a parasite that lives in dozens of species blood-sucking insects called, I can't pronounce that word. It's in a bug, these species, more commonly known as kissing bugs. Up to half of the kissing bugs carry the disease, and the World Health Organization estimates annually kills 10,000 people worldwide. The disease can lie dormant for years, which means cases can go unreported. Chagas often only makes itself known when victims suffer serious cardiac issues, including heart attacks or strokes. It can cause acute reactions, including swollen limbs, eyes, and I can't pronounce that word either. Though its long-term effects are much more dangerous. Insects infected with this parasite have been found in 32 states to date, primarily across the southern half of the country, and I do see Tennessee's in there. According to a literature review published this month for the CDC and Prevention Emerging Infectious Disease Journal, the disease has been reported in 8 states. Here we go: Texas, California, Arizona, Louisiana, Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi, and Arkansas, according to the research. Dogs exposed to the parasite have also been found in 23 states, as well as Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Virgin Islands, research suggests. Wildlife infections, including possums, raccoons, armadillos, and coyotes, have been documented in at least 17 states. However, in a majority of U.S. states, the disease is not reportable. Is not a reportable illness, meaning physicians are not required to report and investigate human cases as they do with the flu or malaria. Now, this makes the true scale of the problem hard to gauge, as there's no consistent reporting on infections across the country. And we're never going to have any sort of consistency if RFK Jr. is the one calling the shots here. But a study in 2016 estimated there are as many as 300,000 people infected in the U.S. A report in the Los Angeles Times this week estimated that as many as 100,000 people in California alone could have contracted the disease. The majority of human cases are acquired in other countries, a study by California's Department of Public Health stressed. And officially, the CDC and the World Health Organization list the U.S. as a non-endemic for the disease, with locally acquired Chagas cases relatively rare. But authors of the recent CDC article highlighted widespread underreporting and low public and clinical awareness. Now researchers are calling for health officials to classify the disease as an endemic, and which means it's consistently persistent. So one doctor here, Gabriel Hamer, told the Times that the U.S. cases are just the tip of the iceberg. There's no standardized reporting system. There's no active surveillance. So up to 75 million people globally could be at risk from infection with the so-called silent disease, which typically presents no mild symptoms according to the World Health Organization. This is the disease that has been neglected and has been impacting Latin Americans for decades, said Norman Beatty. And he's a Chagas disease expert, told the Times, but it's also here in the United States. And a lot of you may be saying, Brando, that's the last kind of news that we needed today with everything going on in the world. Why did you have to bring that story up? I really believe the reason why that more people needs to be talking about it is because of the madman, the lunatic, the buffoon, RFK Jr., that's in charge. If that's the man in charge, then we need to really keep our eye on the ball and study this stuff, because otherwise he's not going to do it. I mean, he's the type of person who would just let it. I mean, he's the type of person that would go dancing around those bugs. I mean, this is the guy that staged a Cubs death in Central Park, put a whale's head on top of his car, and swam in a river of shit. So I wouldn't be one bit surprised if he doesn't strip down naked and run right out in the middle of these kissing bugs and turn cartwheels. And there'll be people out there going, oh, yeah, man, RFK Jr., he's what we want. Charlie Kirk said, oh, he's doing what we voted for him to do. Yeah, he's being an absolute madman, an absolute buffoon who has no clue what he's doing and should be nowhere near any position of power. And I'm never going to sit here and mock or criticize the guy's past drug use, or current drug use, whatever the hell he's doing. I'm not the type of person that's going to sit and punch down at him over that. But he is clearly an unhinged dude. He's clearly addled. And I saw a meme a while ago that really cracked me up. It showed a picture of JFK, and it said, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what my nephew's fucking problem is. And that really is what we need to be asking more and more. What really concerns me about these types of stories is that there has been so much distrust sown in science and medicine. And so many people are going to cry fake news, and so many people are going to call bullshit if something like this continues to pick up speed, that how will we ever recover from it? There will be reasonable people like us trying to take all the proper precautions and trying to stop it and trying to put our foot on the brake, but there will be RFK Juniors of the world out there just ignoring it or pushing the accelerator down on it and thinking it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. RFK Jr. needs to resign. I don't know who Donald Trump would put in his place, if it would be anyone any better, but I can't think of anyone worse than RFK Jr. to be in this position. And I know that I always go here with this, folks, but I feel like that it's just the obvious. There's no other world in which you could get a position where you knew nothing about what you were talking about. I guarantee you, if I went down to the local dentist office with no dental experience whatsoever and said, hey, I'm here to pull teeth. I'm here to pull teeth. I read a couple of articles on the internet. I listened to a couple of episodes of Joe Rogan, and I'm ready to go. I can't imagine that anyone would say, you're hired. I have a feeling they would say, sir, go to school, learn what you're doing. And as long as we have the Trump administration in there demonizing education, going after education at all costs and trying to demonize that and dumb everybody down, we're going to have more problems that we're going to be facing. And, this is coming from a person, by the way, I don't enjoy going to the doctor. I never have. I don't know very many people that do. None of us looks forward to it. But what I do, and I'm just me, I barely graduated from a poor high school in Southeast Kentucky. But I go to my doctor, I listen to what they have to say. I try certain medications if they recommend them. If those don't work, I go back and say to my doctor, that didn't work, that caused this side effect. What else can we do? And I talk to my doctor about it. If I don't like what the doctor says, or me and the doctor butts heads, then I'll go find another doctor and go somewhere else. That's what reasonable people do. But you know what I don't do? I don't just go down to the dollar store and stand around and wait for the first toothless hillbilly to walk up and say, hey, buddy, wonder what's causing this in my chest. I hate that shit. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in this world when someone will say to me, I was talking to this guy at work, And he said his brother got that same pain I got and his brother fell dead. Well, how about this? How about instead of listening to the dude at work, how about you go to the doctor and listen to them? If you don't like what they got to say, why don't you go get a second opinion? Why don't you listen to someone with a medical degree on their wall? I don't have a medical degree, okay? The best I got right there is for hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, okay? And we're closing in on 1 million, so we're going to get another plaque pretty soon. We're going to get a gold one to replace that. But you know what it means when I put that gold plaque there to replace the silver one? It does not mean that I'm an expert in science, okay? It does not mean that I should have a position in any cabinet anywhere. I'm just a dude on YouTube sitting in a chair trying to talk some common sense. That's it. That plaque does not make me an expert in science, in medicine. That picture of Hunter S. Thompson does not make me an expert. It might kind of give me some experience with drugs, but it doesn't make me an expert on any damn thing. Damn it. It's just so frustrating that people will actually die because of their stupidity. And it's stupidity. You could say it's ignorance all day. No, it's not really ignorance because you've got experts telling you, hey, don't stick your head in that chopper blade. And you got RFK Jr. going, well, scientists, some studies show chopper blades are good for your neck. As long as we allow dumbasses to be in charge of our health, people are going to die. That's the moral of the story. I don't know anything else to say. So let's keep an eye on that story, and let's keep an eye on our health, and let's take care of the ones we love, because RFK Jr. sure as hell is never going to be a help to any of us.